Yeah, the director of ATF did this thing, and they were like, define in 15 seconds for me an assault weapon. And he was like, well, I'm not a gun expert, so I can't. And one of my favorite tweets that came afterwards, I think it was a guy named George Costas. He said he doesn't know anything about firearms. I'm glad he admitted that. Does he know a lot about alcohol and tobacco?
And
like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like, name your favorate booze. Oh, look, I'm not a drinker. I don't know anything about it. Like,
well, I am not an expert. So.
That's the kind of person Budweiser should hire, though.
That's right.
Oh, gosh.
And then tobacco? That's just...
But he's also the
Can we
person...
get rid of this agency? It makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
There's a problem with that. There's actually a problem with that.
You tweeted about this this morning, I saw, yeah.
Because I was talking to someone at the ATF a few weeks ago, an inside man, just getting some information. And they don't like the FBI. Nobody likes the FBI. I don't think anyone in America, if you were sitting in a bar and a guy, you said, hey, what do you do for work? And he said, I work with the FBI. You wouldn't think
If somebody...
before my time.
If an FBI agent come up to me like, I'm with the FBI, and I go, oh yeah, X-Files. I'd be like, really?
Tell me everything.
Yeah, tell me about
I only like that guy who's in Bones and helps her with her cases. He's cool.
Yeah, but the
TV
average,
FBI agents we like, I guess.
The average American won't thank an FBI agent for their service. They're not going to do that. No. Not right now. But so I was talking to my ATF guy, and we were talking about... where was I going? The brace thing. What did we just talk about a second
Abolishing
ago?
the ATF.
Abolishing the ATF. And so I asked him about that, and he said, well, the problem with the ATF going away is the FBI would take over. And they have infinite resources. They're weaponized way more easily by the administration. Like, technically, they've been trying to weaponize the ATF for political means, and they put through an executive order, I think, in 2021. It's still not in effect this year. That's how slow-moving the ATF is, which is good for us. Like, I actually don't mind. That's pretty cool. So... My tweet was essentially the ATF should get removed when the gun laws are removed at the same time, so the FBI can't do anything squirrely and weird.
And as long as it's not really that tall of an order to get rid of federal gun laws, because the federal government doesn't have extensive gun laws thanks to the Second Amendment. There's really limits placed on what the feds can actually do.
But here's the most important question. The ATF has just imposed a rule without Congress, making it illegal to own an item attached to a weapon that will make hundreds of thousands of people criminal felons?
Millions and millions and millions.
I can't remember what the number was. It was like three.
I don't know, many.
I had to have them because I think I have a handful of pistols with braces. They were all removed and separated and stored somewhere far away.
I just got bump stocks and everything, man. No. But with that,
are you still allowed to have them so long as they're not attached?
No, the whole bump stock thing's okay. So this is the
they
problem.
lost that. They lost it,
right? But no one knows. Like, it's in limbo,
right.
And like, will the company start selling them again? No, probably not, because they're like, well, they'll just ban it in the next administration.
A court struck that down.
That is correct. And the brace thing, it's going to be the exact same thing. They're going to fight it for 2 years.
Yep.
The issue is for resellers like Gunbroker, for example, the day that went out or the next day that went out, they pulled all listings of guns with braces off of their website.
Let me provide people with some context real quick, just because it may be a little bit esoteric for a lot of people. There are pistols, and there are people who are disabled. In order to fire the pistol, they attach a brace, which goes onto your forearm so you can hold it. However, they can adjust in length, they're retractable. And so some people... And these are bad people, I tell you.
Horrible.
They pushed it up to their shoulder to simulate a stock. Because a brace can simulate a stock, they've now made it illegal. Or they've just issued a decree.
They made a short-barreled rifle, essentially. Yeah.
They've decreed it. Now, that's the biggest problem I have. I've said on the show, I was like, come on, we know people are using braces like stocks. It's like...
Everyone.
Right. Everybody knows. Yeah. But, and so first of all, I disagree with all the gun control. But if it went through Congress, I'd roll my eyes, I'd complain about it. But this is 100 times worse than that.
A rogue agency.
A rogue agency issuing a rule. We hereby decree that if you have this thing, you're a felon. That's crazy.
Yep. And the issue is most people aren't following the news. I mean, they just don't want to. They want to go about their life, work their job, do whatever. They don't know what's going on with every regulation. And then all of a sudden, a dude will get caught up. And I'll be like, well, I didn't know it got changed. I didn't realize y'all were changing laws every 3 years and regulations for a thing that you said. The law. Right. Yeah. But they said braces are fine. Like, you can do this thing. They, SB sent this product to them. They said that's fine. And so everyone bought them. And then, you're going to change your mind on it and go back on it. And that's going to screw over all the people that don't pay attention to the laws. Because, I have a hard time paying attention. I literally do this for a job, keeping up with all the regulations. I'm probably a felon 5 days out of the week.
If I didn't cover the news, there's no way I would have known about this.
No.
Mm-hmm. And so sure enough, when the news comes out, it's like, okay, we got to go. And I think I had like 3 and we took them off and we moved them and stored them somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. I am I'm a guy that shoots a lot, and I pay a lot of attention to guns, and I'm, active in the gun world, and at least enough to be aware of what's going on. And to think that the average person is going to do that kind of stuff when they've got a family, they've got work, they've got kids, they've got
an election coming up, they're like, oh, what do I do?
It's like they're normal people with normal lives, and that's something that I think a lot of people that are wrapped up in this kind of stuff don't realize. Your average person doesn't spend their days paying attention to the details about what laws are passed or whatever. And when you can go to like Runnings in New England, there's this it's essentially Tractor Supply that sells guns as well. But you can buy a 10-inch pistol, or you could buy a 10-inch pistol. And, some dude just goes and he's like, oh, I can pick this up for $1,500, go home and I shoot it once in a while, that doesn't watch gun tube stuff. And he doesn't know that he's now a felon or he's going to be a felon or whatever.
Do you see,
that's ridiculous.
You see that viral video of that Gen Z Democrat where he was like, we're coming for your guns. Yes. We're going to win. We're going to take them. We're not sitting
hired by the White House.
Mm-hmm. You invited him to your house?
No, he's hired by the White House. No.
I was going to say, you should invite him to your house.
I'll take him to the range. I mean, I'll have to have some people there so I don't get like Chris Kyle or something.
But I tweeted, they already lost.
Ooh,
the gun control people.
Oh, yeah.
Not only are we looking at 27 constitutional carry states, it's, I think Nebraska and Florida are next to go into effect.
Yep.
But 3D printed guns exist. It's done. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yep. I won't say what I was going to say. I was going to say ammo. So they tried to go after ammo a few years ago, green tip ammo. That's honestly, yes, steel penetrator. It's all right. It's not that great, but it works. But they tried to go after ammo, and the thing that gun control people could do if they were smart is they would go after, they would use OSHA compliance, and they would try to shut down businesses and make it harder for businesses to function. Businesses would have to raise the prices to offset that. And I know, but I'm telling everyone who's on here who needs to understand these things. Because I run a business. I can actually talk about this. That's how they could actually shut down a lot of people from owning guns and make it so only people in like the six-figure income bracket could actually afford guns. That would be the way to do it, because they're not going to actually ban weapons anytime soon. But in states like Washington, I mean, they just did. And now that's being fought. So in some of the really blue states, like super blue states, I think we will see those bans like at least be in effect for another 10, 20 years until culture can shift and change. But nationally, it's not going to happen.
I just want to point out, like, it's kind of amazing that we are winning this well. Gun rights are winning so tremendously. It's like not even a contest.
It's never been popular in America, no matter how much the media says. It's never been popular when you get down to the individual level to take guns away. If you talk, that's why they've always.
Wait. It wasn't until I think 2008 with was it Heller in D.C. that people were actually able to have guns legally nationwide.
Go ahead.
We had in the 80s. Most states would not give you a gun permit. Right. You couldn't have guns. Mm-hmm. And then you watch around the year 2000, constitutional carry starts popping up state by state. And now it's 27 states.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Nebraska, so it's 25 in effect. Florida just did permitless conceal carry. Nebraska, I think, went full constitutional. Am I wrong?
Yeah, just today, I think it was.
And more coming. It ain't over here. More and more states are going to implement. I think
the big frontier is going to be. And the issue right now is the federal government still controls who gets to sell guns. Mm-hmm. That is the whole FFL, the whole thing, the Gun Control Act or whatever it was. That is the actual, like the final frontier of getting rights back is when can states just get to do it on their own? Get to have their own system for choosing who gets to sell guns.
That's a 10th Amendment violation?
Did they get to before? Did
Yeah.
states ever get to control who sold guns? I'm not up on my gun history.
I think back in the day they took guns to schools.
Yeah,
actually,
the thing is, a lot of people that are anti-gun will sit there and they'll say, "Well, you never had this right, you never had that right, et cetera, et cetera." But that's essentially spinning reality on its head,
Right.
because the idea that you were prohibited was foreign to a free people. If you are by your nature free, then the idea that you don't have this right is completely foreign to the concept of you being free.
New.
It comes with your liberty. The fact that you're free means you don't have to ask permission. And that doesn't matter what the context is. And it's so the idea that, the government is creating this right and et cetera. No. The government doesn't create liberties. Liberties exist. And then the only thing the government can do is infringe upon those, which the Second Amendment is ostensibly supposed to prevent, which it does a poor job of in my estimation.
Although it did help with the Bruin case.
It did.
They did go back to that and go, hey, according to this thing, in order to pass regulations, you can't just say it's for public safety. because you can't actually you can't argue that. So like you can't do it anymore.
The bump stock thing, that was a while ago, wasn't it? They struck it down.
I think it was sort of struck down, and then it was kind of struck down again because there was something about it recently.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't really pay attention.
But
much
like
to it.
they're once again legal.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't think anyone will come out and start selling them or putting them on Gun Broker or anything like that because it's still kind of that weird burnt child syndrome. They're like, it's a bump stock.
Yep.
Trump banned it. Don't really want to do anything with it.
And the real thing they're doing is when they say pistol braces are banned, people get rid of them, detach them,
Stop selling them. Companies go out of business.
and then they lose. And then people are like, well, we don't have them anymore.
Yep.
Right. Businesses that make them go under.
Yep. SB is probably, I mean, they haven't been able to sell them for the last, couple of months. So that's 2 months of revenue lost or 3 months, whenever that was. And I had this conversation with them. They're the biggest brace the company. Like that's literally how they got started, SB Tactical. And they said, hey, our goal, and this is what I really appreciate about them. They were actual zealots for the cause and not just capitalists, but they're capitalists with a conscience. They said, we would love to put ourselves out of business by getting SBRs taken off.
Yeah.
So then we don't have to make these stupid things. We'll pivot and make stocks and we'll be fine. So yeah, they're probably 2 months out of revenue. They're putting all their efforts into the political fight.
There are disabled people who use them.
Yeah, sure.
So you still do need pistol braces.
Yeah, they'll make. I mean, they would definitely make a lot less, but not as much. But yeah,
that's the thing. Like the problem is, we will be honest about the fact that people are using them as stocks.
I mean, I got tons of YouTube videos doing it, so the evidence is there.
And then, but because of that honesty, our political rivals will weaponize, like they will not be honest back. They'll claim the AR-15 needs to be banned and then completely ignore every other weapon and every other, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a lot of the issue. It's my issue, and I've been speaking about this for like the last 6 years, is gun owners sugarcoat, like the modern sporting rifle is a perfect example. Companies go, well, we can't call it an M4. We can't call it a weapon. So we're going to call it a sporting rifle. And that right there communicates to people that, oh, this is a privilege, not a right.
Yep.
It's just a sporting instrument. It's for 3-gun or 2-gun or shooting sports, which people aren't. When the M&P 15 in 2020, the M&P 15 was the best-selling rifle in the nation. An AR-15 with a front sight post, 16-inch barrel. People were not buying those to shoot competitions. We did not see a rise in shooting sports, USPSA, multi-gun, 3-gun, when all those rifles were getting bought. That's not why people are buying them. But companies go, we're going to call it a sporting rifle so that we get some heat taken off of us. But all that does is communicate to gun owners, this is a privilege, not a right, and it's going to cause issues. And I've literally told companies, like, they've asked me, hey, what should we do to modernize our brand a little bit? And I just go, dump that name. Get rid of it. It's doing more harm than good long term. It might be fine right now, but in 10 years, what's it going to do to the culture and how people view guns?
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.